Hey everyone, in today's video we are going to do some dry canning. So in this video we are going to be showing you step by step, starting with sterilization all the way on through until the jars are actually sealed and ready to be placed on the shelf. Here I'm going to show you examples of what we have already dry canned in the past. We have red beans, chickpeas, some rice, and some sweet brown rice. And also here on these jars, you'll see here that I have placed instructions and exactly how to prepare it and what exactly the item is. And here on top of the lid, you're going to see the date that I actually processed and canned these. So what you're going to need are obviously your jars. I prefer glass jars because nothing gets in them. You can use, this is the half-gallon size, and this is the quart size. Now we have a family of 4, so I prefer the quart size. I just don't know how much is going to be used at one time. So if we need more, it's easier to open another jar than to not use what we need and then have a whole jar go to waste. We also have your lids. These are wide mouth lids. Today I'm going to be using the regular size lids. And we also have this device here that I use to pick up the jars out of the hot boiling bath vinegar water that I use. Just a cup to scoop my items, a funnel, this little cake pan here that I use to go ahead and stick my lids actually in the oven at the very end of the process. And I also have these UV gloves. These are not exactly UV gloves, it's not the name brand, but whatever it is you can get your hands on, these are probably one of your most important items to have other than what you're actually canning. Your vinegar and the actual product. These are chickpeas, and I have basmati rice, or however you pronounce it, that we're going to be canning today. And in this video, we are going to be doing a total of 12 jars. Okay, also I want to mention the reason why we're dry canning is just to have the extra food in storage just in case an emergency happens. We are living in some pretty rough times here in this world, and it's not just our country, it's all over the place, all over the globe. So we just want to be prepared because you just never know what's going to happen when it's going to happen. And also I want to mention that this method, these jars that we use to dry can, are going to last roughly 15 to 20 years on the shelf. Some say it will last up to 25 years regarding shelf life. So if you're not sure about canning or what you're going to can for long term, this might be a good idea for you. Okay, our first step in the sterilization process, which I like to call the vinegar bath, is just to essentially try to kill any sort of bacteria that may be on our canning jars. I have brand new canning jars. I don't necessarily wash them with hot soapy water because they are brand new, but if you do have old jars that have been sitting on the shelf, definitely maybe throw them in the dishwasher or just hand wash them with hot soapy water, you know, and rinse really well. But the first thing I'm going to do is I have this huge pot here. You're going to sit the jars upside down in the pot in the vinegar bath. Now the bath water is going to be roughly about a ½ inch high, and then you're just going to add some vinegar. There's not an exact math to it. I just add the water where I kind of eyeball the ½ inch mark, and then I'm just going to dump some vinegar in, and then I'm going to bring it to a boil first, and then once it's rapidly boiling, I'm going to place the jars in using my little handy dandy thing here so I don't burn myself. And then once everything's in place, I slap the lid back on, and it's going to be in the bath for roughly 20 minutes. Okay, our steam vinegar bath is going now. I have a rolling boil, pretty hot. May not use my handy dandy little pliers here, but my UV gloves are fine. So what I'm going to do, like I said earlier, is I'm going to place these upside down here in this bath. Also, I want to let everybody know that there's a lot of different little items that I gotta go through, and I may not remember them all while making this video. So if I forget anything, it'll definitely be in the first comment under this video and also in the description box. Okay, have my jars in there. I'm gonna place the lid. I'm gonna set the timer for 20 minutes. Now, as this is going, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the oven on. The oven's gonna be set at 225 degrees Fahrenheit. And then once it's done boiling here, I'm going to set jars upside down here in the oven to dry, because they're gonna come out here very wet and you want them to dry with it really, you don't wanna contaminate anything. So I'm gonna set them in the oven upside down, and they're gonna stay in the oven for about 30 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes have gone by, so our steam bath here for this set is finished. Just gonna shut it down, carefully remove the lid because everything is very hot.
You kept that on high the whole time?
No, I actually kept it on high for a little bit, maybe 5 minutes, and then I went ahead and turned it down to between medium and low. So what I'm gonna do now is carefully take these out. Now they're extremely hot. I'm just gonna sit them aside till I get them all out. I'm gonna put them, everything's clean. Everything is as clean as I can get it. I wiped everything down, Clorox wipes, anything that I could find that I think is good for sanitation purposes, I have done. So clean towels, clean counters, clean everything. Okay, for now my next step, if you want to come look here below, oven's on 225 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm just going to take these jars now, place them in upside down, and they're going to stay in this 225 oven for 30 minutes to dry. Now if you're not pressed for time, once the 30 minutes is up, you can go ahead and shut the oven off, leave them in there till they cool naturally, or I'm pressed for time, I have to go ahead and take them out, and I'll set them on another clean towel over on the other counter here and let them cool off that way and then continue on. I'll set the timer, like I said, for 30 minutes. Okay, now that I have everything in the oven drying, as many as that I could fit in here, there was actually 7 in here. I'm doing 12 total today, so I have 5 more to go. So next step, just kind of do what I did the first time. Stick these in the vinegar bath for 20 minutes and go ahead and stick them in the oven to dry for another 30. Okay, so now we're done with the drying cycle. Just gonna take everything out. We're gonna put it right over here on our countertop on a clean towel and let it continue to cool completely down. Woo. Okay, my jars here have cooled down, and now on to the next step. These bags have been shipped from somewhere in the US. I have no idea. I didn't buy them in bulk at the store. I get a bigger bag if I order online, so that's what I did. So, because I don't know where they're coming from, how long they've been sitting, wherever they've been sitting, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it down, try to disinfect it as much as I can, but I mean, nothing's foolproof, but do what you can. So I'm just gonna take my Lysol wipe, just kind of wipe the whole bag down. And the reason for this is because of potential bugs, larvae, eggs, whatever might come with any sort of pantry food item. Now keep in mind as also that I have wiped down my counters. I have everything clean, like I was saying before, clean towels. Everything is just try to get it as clean and disinfected as you can. Once I'm done with that, we're gonna go ahead, I have the funnel here to go ahead and just stick in my jar, and we're gonna start filling. Okay, on to the next step. This is the big step. Like I said, wipe my bag down, Because my bag is so big, I have it sitting here on one of our stools. I cut it open, broke the seal, and here we go. So I have my funnel in place. I just have a 1 cup measuring cup here, and we're just gonna fill. Now, when you're filling these jars with rice, you're gonna leave about 3/4 inch headroom. If you're gonna fill it with beans, you're gonna leave about 1 inch headroom.
Great.
Overfilled that one just a little bit. And I kind of tap it, kind of settle it, and then move on to the next. Meanwhile, while you're filling these, you're going to turn around and you got to make sure you put your oven back on at 225 degrees Fahrenheit. And because I'm using quart-sized jars, the rice will sit in, and it doesn't matter if it's beans or rice, it just matters the size of the jar. You're going to keep it in the oven on 225 for approximately 90 minutes. And what that does, kind of going over, just repeating myself with regards to killing any tiny bugs, any larva eggs, any sort of issue you may have with bugs that come from your pantry. It's just to ensure that they're dead. Now you could use other methods regarding canning that can kill the eggs and the larvae and any potential small bugs that you're not seeing. And we'll go ahead and list those at the end of the video. Okay, on to our very last one here. Okay, now this here was a 25-pound bag. As you can see, I didn't use the whole thing. I probably used a good 3/4 of it. And I have 12 quart jars here. Now my oven is ready, so we are gonna go ahead and stick it in the oven for 90 minutes. And this will kill the larvae, the eggs, the bugs, anything that could have possibly gotten in here to prevent any sort of future contamination. All right, here we go. Now we're just gonna load it in the oven, kind of like we did with the drying method. Oh, I get burned. Okay, and we're just gonna keep it like this for 90 minutes. So while everything is in my oven, doing what's supposed to do for the next 90 minutes, there's one step that we are going to take, actually 2 steps, before everything comes out and we seal the jars. Now because I'm using 12 jars, I have 12 lids here. In my sink here, I just have some hot soapy water. I'm just gonna give them a nice wash, rinse them, dry them on this clean towel. And then we're gonna set them here in this pan because the last 15 minutes of our cooking time, so to speak, in the oven with our rice is, we're just pretty much gonna just shove these lids in there to dry completely. And everything is clean and disinfected. I went ahead and scoured out my sink with some Clorox bleach. And I have a brand new sponge here, making sure everything is as clean as I can get it. Okay, so these are gonna wait. We have roughly, we still have 1 hour and 26 minutes to go till everything is done. So like I said, the last 15 minutes, we'll go ahead and throw these in. And then our next step, what I'd like to do during this process, because there's such a long time in between what you need to get done, I'd like to go ahead and proceed with making the tiny little labels that I tape on each jar. Okay, and you're gonna see here, I just went downstairs on my computer. I've had labels from the last batch of rice that I did, making 12 jars. So here's 12 little labels. I'm just gonna cut each individually out and go ahead and tape them on the jars right before I put them on the shelf downstairs. Okay, as you can probably see, if I get too close to my oven, it's gonna steam up the camera, so I'm not gonna get that close. I have almost 15 minutes left, so I'm gonna go ahead. I have my lids still here in the pan. They don't need to be separated, you know, one by one, whatever. They can lay on top of each other, that's fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw them in for the last 15 minutes. Put them right there on top of there, that's fine. Shut it, and we'll wait. All right, so here we go. Our hour and a half is up. I'm gonna take everything out. I'm gonna leave the oven on until I have every jar out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the lids out, quickly set them over there on the towel, and then I'm gonna get one jar out at a time. So one jar out, shut the door, do what I need to do with the lid, and then back and forth. So here we go. Shut my timer off. Now this is where these gloves come in very handy. So I have a set of tongs here. I don't want to touch anything, it's very hot. Kind of center it on there. Get your band or your ring on and get it as tight as you can. And that's it. And you just keep doing it until you're all done. Now some folks go as far as wiping things down again one more time before they even put the seal on. I'm not doing that. They've been in the oven for quite a while. Get this on real tight. And I do everything in my power to not touch the brown seal or the red seal itself. Now in the process of doing all this, what you're gonna notice and what you might hear are these little ping or these little pop sounds. That just means it's ready, it's good to go. I will have all these jars sit here until they are completely cooled down. Almost heard one. Two more. And that's it. If you sit here, if I let the video sit here long enough, you're gonna start, like I said, hearing these ping or these popping sounds. That just means the lids are starting to seal. So 12 are done. I'm gonna sit here and make sure all of them are good to go. I'm not gonna touch them, they're very hot. But they'll sit here till they're completely cool. Once that's done, I'll go ahead and slap the label on. I'll show you everything when I'm all done. All right, here we are. We are finished dry canning our basmati rice. We did not get a chance to let the video play long enough so you can hear the popping or the pinging sound. Unfortunately, the battery died on the camera, but here we are. Here I will show you that I went ahead and taped on the label. It shows you exactly what it is and how to prepare it. And at the top here, I went ahead and put the date. Also, I just want to go ahead and forewarn you, I ran into this the very first time that I dry canned. You're gonna notice as you put the lids on and everything is cooling, you might notice some moisture on the inside of your jars, and that's normal. That will get reabsorbed into the product and everything should be fine. I haven't had any issues so far. This is the third time I've been dry canning. And every once in a while I will go down in our storage area and I'll check the lids, make sure the seal has not broken and nothing pretty much went wrong. So also at the end of this video and in the description box, we will go ahead and put a list of items that you can dry can. There is a long item or a long list of items. There's some people that like to use the vacuum sealed method for dry canning, and they also will go ahead and put oxygen absorbers in here. that's entirely up to you on how you want to do it. So far, this method, like I said, works for us. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, you can comment below. Everything that we can think of, we'll go ahead and put in the description. Anything that we might have missed during the video. But like I said, any questions, just comment below and we will try to answer every question that we come across. Thanks and have a great day.